Sponsored by. And we are back for another game day this week. Third one of the year, right? Yeah, third one. Third one of the year, missed last week, but this week look to get it better, more consistency each and every week now. Unfortunately, last week did not happen, but you know what? Let's go ahead and get straight into it. First game we're picking is number 11 Michigan travels to Camp Randall to play the number 13 Wisconsin Badgers. I feel like in this game, Michigan's finally going to get a slap in the face of reality. I feel like Jonathan Taylor's just going to run all over them. I'm not a huge believer in Michigan, so that's why I'm picking Wisconsin, especially with it at home. If you're barely beating Army in overtime, you got problems.
Michigan played. Hey, honestly, I looked at Michigan's offense, and the reality is their defense is terrible. Wisconsin, I believe in them, and it's roll on Wisconsin.
Michigan struggled with Army, a nobody. Wisconsin shouldn't be 13. I believe there should be a top 10, but I'm going to go with Wisconsin.
That's just that Big Ten bias.
I think that Wisconsin wins this one as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan made this a little closer. I know you guys make fun of them like taking Army into overtime, but this Army team was really good against Oklahoma last year. I think Army's a sneaky team always, every week. So I still have Wisconsin winning because they're at home.
That's the reality. I mean, like, anytime you have a system, you should be able to stop the system, though. That's how bad Michigan's defense is, where everyone knows what the play is and they still couldn't stop them. Michigan is bad. Like, they're bad.
Does Harbaugh get fired at the end of the year?
He is on the hot seat. If he loses to Ohio State again, I don't see how they bring him back. I really don't.
Yeah, they can't. There's no way. Yeah,
especially now that Urban's gone.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna move on to number 8 Auburn traveling to College Station to play the 17-ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Ranked wise, this would be called an upset, but not really. I'm taking Texas A&M in this game. Not still a huge believer in Auburn. I feel like they got a little lucky in that Oregon game, but Texas A&M has looked fairly solid. You know, it's Clemson. They lost to Clemson, but I'm going with Texas A&M.
I think Jimbo Fisher has the team in the right direction. With that being said, I still don't think they are. I don't think they're in the same league as the rest of the SEC, especially the SEC West, the top teams of the SEC West. And I'm going to go with Auburn. I don't believe in Kellen Mond in pressure situations, and as we've seen in that Oregon game, Auburn can bring defense. So I don't think that Texas A&M can pull it out even in the presence of the 12th man.
Yeah, I'm agree with you, Chai. Texas A&M put up a great game against Clemson. It may not look like it. They scored a lot of points against the top team in the nation, but Auburn is just the powerhouse this year. Again, I don't think they're ranked number 8. They should be at least top 5, and I believe that Auburn will come out with it.
That's SEC bias. Randy has SEC and Big Ten bias.
Okay, Paul, fine. I'm going to go with the Aggies. I'm not completely sold on Auburn yet. I do, like you said, think they got lucky in the Oregon game. And I just think that this game is at A&M, so the crowd's going to be fired up. I'm not a complete believer in Bo Nix yet, and so I think with the pressure and the atmosphere that A&M will win this game. Now we'll move on to the game of the week. Number 7, Notre Dame travels to play the Georgia Bulldogs, who are ranked number 3.
Notre Dame finally plays somebody.
Notre Dame equals overrated U, Georgia.
I'm going to say this on camera. Notre Dame might be the team that I hate worse than USC. And that's crazy. That's crazy for me to say. But Notre Dame is the Yankees of college football. They think that what's good for them is what's good for college football. And the reality is that Notre Dame is terrible. Anybody that roots for Notre Dame is terrible. If you root for Notre Dame, I want you to come up here with your leprechaun self so I can slap you back into reality.
So Notre Dame actually has a tough opponent this year.
Never agreed with you more.
They went undefeated last year playing nobody. Notre Dame wins.
What?
No, Georgia.
Okay. Georgia's still coming out of the East.
Hey, I still don't think Notre Dame last year was
Florida without Felipe Franks. Come on now.
I still don't think Notre Dame was that bad last year. I mean, they lost to Clemson by a lot. Like, I think it was 31-0 in the game. But then we saw what Clemson did to Alabama. Like, I think that Notre Dame wasn't as bad as people play them out. And, I mean, like, I'm not going to pick Notre Dame. I'm obviously going to pick Georgia in this game. But I think it could be a close game. But since it's in Athens, I'm going to pick the Bulldogs.
Let me ask you this. Between Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, and who is it? Ohio State,
Georgia.
Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma, who's going to be left out?
Georgia.
Who's being left out?
Georgia.
Oh.
Georgia, and then there's got to be one. Well, because Alabama has to play Georgia in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
I think Alabama beats Georgia, so then Georgia would be left out. Also, Ohio State's going to be left out because they're going to lose next week. Go Big Red.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable.
No. Okay, so now we move on to the sleeper game of the week. Pac-12 at night, number 19, Washington State plays at home against the 0-3 UCLA Bruins.
Woo! Go Bruins!
If it was in Mike Leach's Pac-12 mascot matchup, I would take UCLA in this. I feel like a Bruin would probably take down a Cougar, but this is football, completely different. I got to go with Washington State. And I feel like we got to talk about the success that Washington State's having in the NFL right now. Minshew, Luke Falk hasn't really done anything, but Minshew, he's a legend, already an NFL legend.
Okay, look, I wanted Mike Leach. I want this to be
Who doesn't?
on the record.
Yeah, who doesn't?
No, that I wanted Leach, like, when he was still without a job. Like, before he went to Wazoo, I wanted him to be UCLA. I actually went to a book signing, my cousin went to a book signing with him and said, hey, you should come to UCLA. And I think if UCLA had offered him, he would have gone. But UCLA didn't offer him because our AD is terrible. But thankfully,
he's gone.
Jesus has provided that he is in his last year. And as long as we don't get the Fresno State AD, but we actually get somebody from the SEC or someone like that, we are going to be fantastic. I still have to pick the Bruins, and here's why. Mike Leach is like Chip Kelly. He overthinks. And so I'm going to believe that Mike Leach is going to overthink this game, and UCLA somehow pulls out the upset. I'm going to go with 31-17.
Yeah, but you just said he's like Chip Kelly who overthinks. Chip Kelly's going to overthink as well.
31-17 UCLA over the Wazoo.
I would take Mike Leach overthinking more than Chip Kelly overthinking. If it was 5 years ago, I'd take Chip Kelly.
It's Wazoo at home at night. UCLA won't even score. 42-0.
Wow.
Washington State.
Washington State's apparently better than Oklahoma. Put Washington State in the top 4.
I think Wazoo's defense is better than Oklahoma's. I don't think Oklahoma's defense is that good. That being said, if this game is in Pasadena, Wazoo still wins. Exactly. This game is at Martin Stadium at nighttime. Wazoo's going to go crazy.
It's not November. It's September.
It is September.
Not that cold.
It is.
It'll be fine.
I'm not saying it's because of the weather. I'm saying it's because of the fans. Also, getting back to your point about it being in Pasadena, no UCLA fans show up. It would have been mostly Washington State fans at that game.
Let's move on.
Someone's a little salty. Now we move to the NFL picks this week. First game we got, the 2-0 Ravens travel to Kansas City at Arrowhead to play the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs. Two of the hottest quarterbacks and half running back.
No, he's not a quarterback.
Well, he's been playing a lot better, but you got to look at it. He's Lamar Jackson, who we're talking about, has played the Dolphins defense. Who did they play last week? They're not good. Who was it last week? It was like it doesn't matter. The two defenses he's played. The Browns.
Oh, no. Yeah.
The Browns. Yeah, whatever. They're both not good teams or good defenses, so that's why he's been playing so well. But I've always said this, Patrick Mahomes is the real deal. That's why I got to pick Kansas City, especially in Arrowhead.
I'm going with Patrick Mahomes. I believe in him. I think Patrick Mahomes is what Lamar Jackson wishes he was. I said Lamar Odom. Lamar Jackson wishes he was, and he's not. And Patrick Mahomes is a better version of the quarterback that Lamar Jackson always wishes he would be. I'm going to say this isn't even close. Kansas City blows him out.
Yeah, I don't believe in Lamar Jackson as much as I can believe in Patrick Mahomes. Kansas City stacked this year. I can see them being
and their best playmaker's not even in yet.
And so I say Kansas City in this game.
Yeah, the Chiefs just have too many weapons on their team. Even with Tyreek Hill being out, they got Mecole Hardman, the rookie, and the other guys. I mean, Demetri Robinson had 2 touchdowns last week against the Raiders. I mean, when your quarterback's throwing 278 yards in a quarter, that's hard to pick against. So I'm picking the Chiefs against the Ravens.
Yeah, not to mention the way that Andy Reid, like the way he makes adjustments too, it's insane. It's top notch, top tier in the NFL.
Now we move on to the 1-1 Texans facing off against the 1-1 Chargers in LA at the soccer stadium.
At the soccer stadium, yes. I feel like the Chargers will find a way to lose this game.
The Pub Center or whatever it's called.
Yeah. The Chargers will find a way to lose this game. That's what the Chargers do. But the Texans have Bill O'Brien as their coach. So maybe the Chargers. I'm picking the Chargers to win this game. I can't pick with Bill O'Brien. I just can't.
I'm going to go with Mr. Brewer's pick here. He would choose the Chargers because I don't know why he's loyal. Mr. Brewer's a good man. And for Mr. Brewer's sake, I hope that the Chargers pull it out. Chargers.
At least San Diego still has the Padres.
Barely.
I say Texans. And you can hold me to that.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Randy. I'm going to pick the Texans as well. Chargers, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it this year without Melvin Gordon on the offensive side. Lost last week to Detroit, who tied Arizona. So I just don't feel that confident with the Chargers. I mean, it's probably going to be a Texans game, knowing the Chargers can never get a home crowd.
How many Texans fans are there really, though?
I know more Texans fans at the school than I know Chargers fans.
That's more to say about the school.
Yeah,
we're in California.
The thing is, the Chargers shouldn't be in LA. I feel like that's...
Yeah, they're competing in two...
Really an LA team. The Rams over the Browns because the Browns are terrible.
Yes, I feel like we should take some time and talk about how not good the Browns are. I feel like they've always been overrated this season. And I'm glad that we saw that in that Tennessee game. They got to play the Jets without Sam Darnold and then Simeon. The Browns just aren't that good. At least Odell has a nice watch.
Yes.
Really nice watch.
Very nice watch.
I actually appreciate that move. That's a baller move right there. That's a nice watch that he's playing with. And then he has over 100. Then he has over 100 receiving yards.
Wait, wasn't the watch this week proved not to be the real watch?
No, he wore it last week.
He's worn 2 different watches.
But this week the original value of it was decreased because it was a knockoff or something.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I saw that for this
Still had a really good game.
The point is he wore a luxury watch on the field. That's amazing.
All right, so let's move on to talk about the Browns. The Rams travel to Cleveland to play the 1-1 Browns.
We both picked the Rams, but is Baker Mayfield waking up dangerous that Sunday morning? I feel like that's the real question always. Just how dangerous it is. That's so stupid. Also, Baker Mayfield, stop talking about Colin Cowherd. It just...
Rams. It's a no-brainer.
I mean, I saw Baker Mayfield shotgun a beer in 3 seconds. I was a little impressed. So I'm going to go with the Browns. Mr. Buttrell will be proud.
And now for picking a team based on their football play, not how good they can shotgun a beer, I am picking the Rams. I mean, the Rams are the NFC team now. I mean, especially with the Saints losing Drew Brees.
Hey, don't discount the Packers. Go Pack, go. Finally have a defense. Finally don't have Mike McCarthy as our head coach. Feeling much better about this season.
That's not on the list.
Yeah, we're not talking about the Packers.
I don't pick the list.
What about it? Yeah, I picked the list.
Yeah, the Packers aren't on here.
Yeah, because they're playing Denver. Denver's terrible. There's no reason to put that on there.
Oh, Packers 3-0.
That's right.
Anyways, yeah, I'm going to pick the Rams as well. And now let's move on to our game this week. Tonight, Faith Lutheran Crusaders all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada are coming here to Bakersfield. Eagles looking for a revenge game after losing to them 42-28 last year in the desert. Eagles 3-0, Faith Lutheran 0-3.
Okay, so I know Faith Lutheran's 0-3, but should not look at that and think this will be an easy game, because it certainly will not be. They've played a tough schedule, and they beat us last year. But I feel like with them this time having to drive 6 hours and us being a little better this year, or them not being as good this year, us been playing well up to this point. Our defense was great the first 2 games. Our offense been great the past 2 games. So I got to go with BCHS 28-21.
Randy, you had the experience of making that drive. What is that like, and what is that going to do in the mindset of the Crusaders as they walk into Eagle Stadium?
Honestly, the drive's tiring. You get to that field and you have an hour to 2 hours to get ready. You're dead, and you're not ready for the game. Heck, we woke up probably halftime, and by then it's too late. The Raiders, they're going to come up here. The Crusaders are going to come up here, and they're going to be tired, and they're going to be sitting. They're going to be sore, and they don't know what it's like to play in Bakersfield. It's different. It's humid but dead heat, and it's a 6-hour drive, and then the elevation change. You got to come over the grapevine, and they're driven the grapevine. I don't think they understand what they're really coming for here, and we're all going for heads. We got revenge. They have a star on their back. We don't care about what the score will be. We just want to get that 4-0. We want to get that #1 seeding to get all the games here, playoffs at home, and we're ready, baby. I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Here.
Yeah, my prediction is going to be, I'm going to go with 24-10. I believe in our defense. I believe what Coach Carr is doing on defense. I believe I've seen the boys move, the defensive packages. I've seen them take what they've seen on film and apply it in practice this week. I think they're in a good headspace on defense. The speed is what is alarming on our offense, of course. I mean, there's something to think about, but I expect that David Stevenson is going to have a good game, and I expect our defense to hold him.
Especially if Ronnie's having 5 interceptions.
All right, Ronnie Simrel has predicted 5 interceptions, in which case, if Faith Lutheran, whose bus is pulling up, maybe? Is that right there?
No, I think it is.
Is it?
Okay, well.
Are they for real
With that being said, I guess that it's already game time. Oh, JV.
Oh, JV.
JV has arrived. I'm going to say that charter bus is pretty sweet. And that's not going to do anything for them. I really do believe that if our defense plays the way that we know we can play, then that's going to be it.
Yeah, last year, Dominic did not start the game at quarterback, came in after the half, played really well, got us back into the game. It was 42-28 was the final, but we were down by 35 points in that game, and we came back. This year, I see our team being a lot stronger, more solidified. We finally have our quarterback who we are solid with. We're not playing with 2 separate quarterbacks. I think the game plan this week is going to be solid, and Faith Lutheran having 11 players transfer doesn't prove high for them.
Bishop?
Huh?
Did they go to Bishop?
Their best linebacker last year transferred to St. John Bosco, and their other best player transferred to St. John Bosco. So with 11 players transferring, I just don't see them winning. I have the Eagles winning 31-17.
I like to just point out that the drive from having to come from Las Vegas to Bakersfield, that would just suck.
Well, last week
I'd just be depressed coming into the game.
Last week they came to California as well. They went to
but it wasn't Bakersfield.
Moore Park.
It's a different area.
They went to Moore Park and played Rancho Cucamonga.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, so that'll do it for this game day this week. I'm Knight Jarecki, Kyle Gwynn, Mr. Chai, Randy Raymond. We'll see you guys next week on Game Day.
Be there.